Hi, boys and girls. Tonight you'll be working on prepositional phrases in your sentence composing book using pages 18 and 19 and completing sentences 1 through 6. On page 18, you'll find a list of prepositions that you can help you see what a prepositional phrase begins with. And it has them in alphabetical order. Most prepositions fit into this blank. About the river, by the river, in the river, near the river. It's just like our hen in the box, above the box, below the box, about the box, against the box. It talks about how prepositional phrases occur at the beginning of the sentence, which we call an opener, between a subject and a verb, which we call an SCB split, and at the end of a sentence, which we call a closer. A prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and ends with a noun. And then they have some examples. Like a lean gray wolf. Like is your preposition. Wolf is your object. From the quarterdeck. From is your preposition. Quarterdeck is your object. Now, here are some examples of prepositional phrases in the 3 different spots. An opener would be something like this. Like a lean gray wolf, he moves silently and easily. It occurs at the beginning of the sentence, and it's a great way to get that sentence variety we've been talking about. For the subject-verb split, it comes between the subject, which is Captain Eaton, and the verb, which is was shouting. It's not just but in the middle of the sentence. So we have Captain Eaton in his good blue coat, there's your SB split, was shouting orders from the quarterdeck. A closer is this example. He was a real rabbit at last, at home with the other 2 rabbits. It happens at the beginning. It happens at the end. So, we have 3 places that a prepositional phrase can occur. It can occur at the beginning, which we call an opener. It can occur between the subject and the verb, which we call an SV split. And it can occur at the end, which we call a closer. An opener would be something like this. By the door, comma, we always have a comma for an opener, stood the basket. So our prepositional phrase, it comes at the beginning, we call it an opener. By the door tells us where the basket was. An SV split, and these are the trickiest ones because they're not just in the middle of the sentence. They occur in between the subject and the verb. So if I have a sentence, the girl, comma, in her new dress, comma, stood quietly. In her new dress is my prepositional phrase. Girl is my subject and stood is my verb. So that's why it's an SV split. These are a little harder to use and we'll be practicing, but they do make a good way to give some variety to your sentence. A closer just means that the prepositional phrase comes at the close or after the subject. I saw the dog by the lake. We don't have a comma when it's in the closing position. Okay? Now, you'll notice on page 19, and this is your work you're going to be doing, we have a list of sentences, and they're all from different books: Charlotte's Web, Ray Bradbury's I See You Never, Strawberry Girl, Ghost Cat, The Giver, and Ghost Beach. Then we have a list of prepositional phrases. Okay, and they underline the prepositions for you: inside, in, from, in, to, through. Notice that some of these, as we get further down, have several prepositions linked together. Your first job is going to be to match the preposition that would make sense in the sentence. So if we look at the horses pricked up their ears when they heard the goose hollering, this is from Charlotte's Web, and I look over here, well, I don't think the goose is hollering in Mrs. O'Brien's kitchen, and the goose isn't in shorts and sleeveless t-shirts, but the goose might be in the stall by the barn. So I'm going to do letter D and put it in front of number 1. Pies were baking in the oven is going to be A, inside Mrs. O'Brien's kitchen. Their path wound in and out would be F, through the scrub, around palmetto trees, clumps, over trunks, so I'm going to put F as number 3. 4, he could see the sun had melted into the horizon, but to the east the sky looked dark and bruised. That's going to be E, to the west through the trees. Jonas searched the auditorium for a glimpse of his father from his place in the balcony. And finally, I saw the 3 Sadler kids walking barefoot along the shore in shorts and sleeveless t-shirts. So that's B. All right, once you've done your matching here, if you go back and we look at these sentences, our sentence would be: the horses pricked up their ears when they heard the goose hollering in their stalls in the barn. Or you might say, in their stalls in the barn, the horses picked up their ears when they heard the goose hollering. So you're going to put these prepositional phrases into one of these sentences, and you can put them as openers, closers, or SB splits. You're going to number your paper 1 through 6. You're going to rewrite the sentence using the prepositional phrase. So now you're ready to write your sentence. So you might start with in their stalls in the barn, comma, and I'm going to underline it. Sorry, I forgot my sentence. The horses pricked up their ears when they heard the goose hollering. I used it as an opener, so I'm going to label it opener. Okay, and I'm going to do this for each sentence. All right, you should have 6 sentences when you're all done. Have fun!